It is really hard to make ugly look good, but I try.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Culkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're going to watch this show on YouTube or wherever you're going to download your podcast, it's free. I appreciate your support. You can show your appreciation if you're watching on YouTube. This means a lot, and it will help out. Become a subscriber. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. Click the red subscribe button when you see this. Thumbs up, smash it. And I want you to click that bell notification. That way you will not miss one episode. This show is sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. I get it. I understand it. Trojan fans are happy just to get the win, right? Of course we are. But if this win was a person, it was ugly, and there is literally not enough lipstick from the Maybelline company to make it look good. You cannot cover this up. First of all, just to get this game started took a little bit longer than necessary. There was actually two protests in this game. One to start the game, when a bunch of jackoffs found their way over to the Cal logo at midfield and had to sit in for, I don't know, about an extra 10 minutes, whatever it was. But and I'm not even sure what they were protesting. I think it was in support of some professor. And again, I don't care. But what I do care about are the cops and security just standing around staring at him. Drag their butts off the field. And then Lincoln Riley had a protest at halftime, or going into halftime, I should say. And literally, both of these causes ended up accomplishing nothing. Lincoln Riley got what he wanted, which was an extra second on the clock. So when before the second half officially started, Dennis Lynch had an opportunity to get out there and kick a 33-yard field goal. He missed it. So that's what I mean. It really accomplished nothing. What it came down to was USC had, I think, 12 seconds left at the end of the first half. Caleb ran around, scrambled, threw the pass. Riley thought Lake McCree got down in time. Clock struck zero. He stayed out there for about 10 minutes fighting with the referees. They weren't going to bring the team back out on the field. Nevertheless, USC got their way, but they missed the field goal. Anywho, so those were the protests. This stuff goes on in Berkeley. Pac-12 is going to Pac-12 themselves, which is bad officiating. They can't figure things out. Whatever. I think going into the game, though, I think everyone kind of assumed I was telling people it was going to be a high-scoring affair. I picked the game, remember? I said USC 45-35. As it turned out, USC needed to score 50 points just to win by one. That's right. USC 50. Cal 49. What? Cal? That offense? Yeah, that's correct. USC held on to win 50-49. Held on to win. They had to rely on their defense. Cal, look, I get they're getting better, but they're not known as an offensive team. Against USC, though, they put up 527 yards of offense. USC, 497. USC probably had over 500 yards. They were in the victory formation for a couple downs there at the end. So stuff came off. Plus, Caleb was sacked 4 times. So if you're saying a win is a win, guess what? That's all you can say. That's all you're left with. This team is showing zero signs of improvement. They're going into week number 10. And this is year number 2 with Lincoln Riley as the head coach and Alex Grinch as the defensive coordinator. I have to keep reminding myself that the Trojans, who are supposed to have a prolific offense that moves the ball with ease, they're not that offense right now. Other teams are moving the ball with prolific offense and efficiency against USC's defense. For the last month, it seems like I'm watching T. Martin's offense with Caleb Williams at quarterback. Take it for what it's worth. That's just my opinion. Where is the creativity from Lincoln Riley? Where is the tempo? Where is Superman from last year? Where is Caleb hiding? Is he hurt? After the game, Coach Riley spoke, and it was almost a 5-minute prepared introductory comment speech. And then the media was allowed to get in 3 questions before we were called short. I'll go over what he said, most of what he said on tomorrow's episode of Locked On USC, but here's a couple of snippets. I want to get these in here. Quote, "That was a wild one," Riley said. Still processing a little bit. Just got done with the guys. Awesome, awesome comeback. You bring them up there at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and it's like you played very spotty all day, and you've got to go summon it. Not only down, but I think they have the ball pretty low down there. I want to give a lot of credit to Cal. I thought they had a great plan. They did a good job taking advantage of the bye week. They brought out a few new things that we had to adjust to and a few things that gave us trouble on both sides of the ball. This is my response to that. Sigh. Really? Coach Riley continued. So give them credit. They made some really nice plays. They did. He's referring to Coach Justin Wilcox, has done a really good job. We knew coming in they had our ultimate respect because really the Washington game for them was kind of fluky. Kind of got some separation early in that game, and then they battled the rest of the way, and then they had a chance to win every single other game. Okay. You can hear Coach speak coming out. They scored a bunch of points here against Oregon State, who we know in our league has done a really good job defensively. They've had some bright moments offensively and had a chance to beat Utah last week. Okay. Probably should have beat Auburn here. I mean, they're a good football team. Justin's done a good job. We knew it would be a challenge coming in, and if we didn't play clean, we knew it would be a dogfight, and it certainly was. You know what, Coach? I'm still processing this too. This is my instant reaction for my Locked On USC fans. I'm processing the fact that USC needed four Cal turnovers so USC's offense could score 20 points. Because USC had 11 penalties for 101 yards. Look, in using Lincoln Riley's words, the offense was spotty, and USC had to punt the ball 7 times. 294 yards on those punts. So nice job, Eddie Trubisky. You got your work in. I mean, even on special teams. And Zachariah Branch, they bottled him up. On offense, he was targeted 6 times, 1 completion, 26 yards. Taj Washington, he led the team at 102 yards on 7 catches. I'm surprised he made it out of this game alive. Caleb's throws were all over the place. They were high to Taj. They were low to other players, behind guys on other throws. He was just erratic. So I have a feeling something's going on with that finger on his hand. Overall, I mean, you look at his numbers, not bad. He was 23 of 40, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mentioned he was sacked 4 times. Part of that is he's still holding on the ball too long. Another quote by Coach Riley. Obviously happy to come out with a win and excited to go back to work with the team and get better. We sit here right now, 5-1, and firmly in second place in probably the most deep conference in college football, and some fun opportunities ahead that we're very much looking forward to. Some fun opportunities ahead is not how I would be describing this Trojan football experience. Because I would not characterize these next 3 games coming up as fun opportunities. At home against Washington, who's going to look forward to taking advantage of USC's secondary. Then on the road at Oregon, who, by the way, destroyed Utah in Salt Lake City. And then you're going to come home for the final game of the regular season, going against UCLA's really good defense. UCLA's really good defense against USC's spotty offense. So This is not a fun roller coaster ride at all. I typically like roller coasters. This is not a fun ride. It's now time for your game changer of the week, brought to you by Athletic Brewing Company. I'm going to talk to you about Jalen Smith on defense. He had a really rough game going up against Cal. However, when he needed to make a play, he made a play. In that fourth quarter, knocked away that 2-point conversion, and it saved the game. It gave USC that 50-49 victory. The same way Athletic Brewing has changed the non-alcoholic beer game, Jalen Smith, I don't know if he became a household name, but he really made amends for himself when he needed to. Because again, Cal gets that 2-point conversion, USC's going to have less than a minute to drive down the field and try and either set up for a field goal or get another touchdown. And because Athletic Brewing's brews are non-alcoholic, you can enjoy more of them, just like you want to enjoy more of Jalen Smith making plays. So before, during, or after the game, Athletic Brewing makes non-alcoholic beers that actually taste good. You can find Athletic Brewing Company's non-alcoholic brews at a store near you or buy them online at athleticbrewing.com. First-time customers, you can use code LOCKEDON to get 15% off your first online order. That's code LOCKEDON at checkout for 15% off at your first order at athleticbrewing.com. Near beer, exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. All right. Trojan fans, stop stressing out trying to get tickets. Download the Game Time app. With killer deals and last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. Like Riley said, fun games ahead. Trojan fans who are still on the bandwagon, Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Oh, by the way, this game against Washington sold out. So if you don't have a ticket, head on over to Game Time. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, and a whole lot more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. And if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seats before you buy so you know exactly what you're going to get when you arrive. And you're going to buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're done. They send them right to your phone. You're not going to search for your email. You'll find your tickets really easy right there on your phone. Snag the tickets without the stress of Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. The college football season is here, and this season, Locked On is kicking up our coverage each Friday. Locked On will go live from 11 a.m. till 12 p.m. Eastern on every Locked On College YouTube channel. Locked On College Football Live will cover the college football playoff implications, the conference rivalry games, and they're going to go in-depth like only Locked On can, including insight and analysis from our stable of Locked On College hosts covering their team every day. So go find Locked On College Football Live every Friday from 11 a.m. till 12 p.m. Eastern on any Locked On College YouTube channel. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, so Bear Alexander got to play in the second half. Remember, he got called for targeting in the second half of the game against Utah, so he had to miss the first half. He made a difference when he played. Now, here's the difference he made. Cal scored 28 points in the first half. They only scored 21 points in the second half. I mentioned that USC scored 20 points off of the Bears' turnovers. Those came in the second half. Now, again, one of them happened on special teams. Tackett Curtis actually stripped the ball from the returner and then fell on the ball to recover it. And that, unfortunately, though, USC's offense kind of gave the ball right back soon thereafter. So that's what Lincoln Riley's talking about, stuff like that. Cal's offense. The Bears rushed for 177 yards in the first half. Yeah. They only rushed for 58 yards in the second half. Again, I'm not sure how healthy the Bears were at running back in the second half, but you do have to give credit to Bears' presence. So I know that Jaden Ott missed most of the fourth quarter. I'm not sure how injured he was. So again, just I want to give USC's defense some credit for making some adjustment in the second half. Still, they got a lot of work to do. All week leading up to the game, I was sarcastic, right? It's the way I cope about how USC's defense makes quarterbacks you've never heard of look like a Heisman winning, or at least a Heisman contender, right? Well, you know his name now. You didn't know it going into this game. His name is Fernando Mendoza. He was recruited by Lehigh, the University of Pennsylvania, Yale, and Cal. That's it. Looked pretty good out there, didn't he? These are his numbers against USC's defense. He was 25 for 39, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have that 1 interception. Eric Gentry, really nice play. But he also rushed the ball 8 times for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it was literally like it was deja vu. On one run, it was one of those, it wasn't a quarterback draw, but once USC shifts and the secondary turns their backs and runs with the wide receivers, it's a keeper, and it goes for big yards. Like I said, I like roller coaster rides, but this one, by the defense, it makes me nauseous. I can't do it. And I know Trojan fans are having a hard time enjoying this ride. And I know Lincoln Riley likes to put a positive spin on it, but I can tell you he's not enjoying this ride. And if he is, wow. Wow. The linebackers right now, look, it's just a mixed bag. You don't know what you get from one game, from one series to the next, from the one game to the next. The players don't know who's going to even, if they're going to play. And then when they do, you're hoping, are they going to make a play? I mentioned Eric Gentry a couple minutes ago. He had probably his best game of the season. He said it following the game that it's been a humbling experience for him. But look, I'm going to remember that one-handed interception. It was huge. Athletic director Jen Cohen, she was on the sideline for the first half of the game. I had my binoculars. I was watching that USC sideline because it was a rough first half. I mean, they trailed 28-17, right? So she was down there in the first half. I was kind of keeping an eye, see who she was talking to, watching the body language. At halftime, we passed by each other in the press box. She didn't have a smile on her face. Didn't look like she was in a very good mood. She asked how I was doing. Said, I've had better days. She agreed. So, again, no one was in a good mood watching USC trail 20-17. That wasn't on anybody's bingo card. If anything, people probably anticipated USC having a 28-17 lead. Look, I get it. I understand it. Lincoln Riley is in charge. But she has to ask Lincoln to pull the ripcord. There's no more waiting. I've said it before. I don't like asking for other people to be fired. I'm not a huge fan of doing it during the season. However, something has to be done now. I think it's hurting the team, the morale. I know recruits are watching this. I know the high school coaches are watching this. I can't say what I want to say all the time. Read between the lines. Current players on this team and their families are wondering, are my young men being developed? Am I going to play? What am I doing wrong at practice that I can't get on the field when the coaches are always talking me up during the week? For me, the bottom line is there's no progress. I haven't seen any. I mean, the defensive backs are getting beat consistently. They're always in chase mode. The tackling, it's not good. I think the word I'm looking for is atrocious. Every now and then, they make a good play. Look, bye week, no bye week. Cal should not be able to move that ball that efficiently, that effectively against USC. Even USC's defense, they should not be able to do that. And why is it that USC struggles on 3rd and long defensively? They're better 3rd and short, 4th and short. Defense will flex their muscles and get a stop. Put them at 3rd, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 yards. Just might as well just call it like an intentional walk and just give them the first down. I said it on the wearesc.com post-game 5-thing show that I do. USC has some really nice players on defense, and they'll make some really nice individual plays. I mentioned Jalen Smith stopping the end zone to get that 2-point conversion from being successful. But again, before that, he was having a really rough game. And it's not just Jalen Smith. I'm not picking on you. But USC, again, had no sacks in this game. I think they've had one in the last 3 games combined. So right now, their defense, they're not getting there with pressure. They can't stop the run consistently or the pass consistently. Look, Coach Riley is not Coach Helton. Let me make this perfectly clear. However, there are times where his positivity sounds a lot like Coach Helton. Let me kind of put that into perspective for you so you know it's just not me. It's not my untrained eyes and ears hearing these things. Sua Cravens has had enough. He's had enough of this roller coaster ride. Here's what he said after the game. God-awful performance for Coach Grinch and this USC defense. Got to call a spade a spade. The only reason we won was due to Cal giving us this game with those fumbles and Jaden Ott getting hurt. We in no way won this game. I don't care for the positive, nonsensical cup half full BS. He's referring to Coach Riley's post-game comments. If Coach Riley and athletic director, it's late, sorry, Jen Cohn needed a lifeline, sort of a reason to make it happen now after tonight's performance would be the perfect catalyst. So again, while it's evident, and I think there's zero doubt that Coach Riley needs to bring in a new defensive coordinator and a new defense. The question is now, what's going on with him and his play calling? I get it. This past week, he's been dealing with pneumonia. But why are we still chasing 2 points? Why are we doing this? I understood the math, down by 5 points. But it's not like SC's defense was stopping Cal's offense at any time, right? Just take the points when you can have them and stop creating negative momentum, because that's what happens. You score a touchdown, you don't get 2 points, the other team's sideline is happy. USC left way too many points on the field. Again, missed 2-point conversions, missed field goal, missed extra point attempt. Look, let's wrap this up here. Coach Riley was asked after the game, Luca Evans writes for the OC Register, if the same defensive struggles that continue to show up each week, 49 points, 527 yards allowed to Cal, persist further, if he would think changes are needed to the staff or personnel or defensive philosophy. Lincoln Riley responded, my thoughts are trying to beat Washington next week. That's my thoughts on it. He did acknowledge that they need to be better. But to the folks who say you guys need to ask the hard questions, he's not going to say yes at that moment and time. He's just not going to do it. We can ask that question to get it on the record, but you're not going to hear the answer you want to hear. And I understand how mad that makes you feel. Deal with it. Just accept it. And try and enjoy this ride. The coach speak from Coach Riley said, look, USC's 5-1. They're in the best and deepest conference in America. We're going to see what happens this week. Because this whole ride or die mentality that he's trying to convey, it's not going to cut it much longer. People just don't want to hear the words anymore. Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including those pros and the sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 players, their stat projections, and just watch the winnings roll on into your account. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport: college football, college basketball, NFL, NBA, NHL, you name it, they got it. What you're going to do is you're going to pick 2 to 6 players, and if they're going to go more or less than their Prize Picks projections, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. At Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers a recently improved deposit and withdrawal experience, including you have the option to use Apple Pay. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first time deposit match up to $100. Okay, so there it is, USC fans. Another win. They break their 2-game losing streak. Yay, Trojans. Woo! Did it feel like a win? Of course, it felt like a win because you didn't lose. But it doesn't feel like the type of win you anticipated. The type of win you need from this USC team this late in the season, going up against a team that they should be able to handle. Something's not right with this team. Look, Lincoln Riley, he averted his first 3-game losing streak. He's got that going for him. Last year was his first 3-loss season in his career. I think everyone, including myself, should just sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's just hope for some happy endings. What Washington does well on offense, USC's defense doesn't do well. Those deep throws that Huskies quarterback Michael Penix likes to throw to his wide receivers, that might be USC's 3rd loss of the season. Not saying it's going to happen. Lincoln Riley says we've got some fun opportunities ahead. USC came pretty close on the road against, I'll call them a very game and competitive Cal team. But again, Cal has nowhere near the athletes that USC has. But what you see from Cal is, I think you see an identity on both sides of the ball. That's what you don't see at USC right now. USC's football team, it's flawed, and it's not just on defense. I'm not going to say that Caleb Williams' stock is falling. It's still really high. But if it's not his finger that's affecting his throws, it's those cover 2 defenses. He has shown these last few games, or at least he refuses to throw the ball unless someone is wide open, and that's created some separation. Riley's play calling and late substitution patterns, it's not helping the tempo or the flow of the offense. In fact, sometimes the way he audibles or Caleb audibles, or, when he starts his substitution pattern when there's 24 seconds on the play clock, that kills the clock because his guys might be running in. The Cal guys are jogging and loafing off the field. So again, they're creating the snap count. They've figured out, all right, the umpire, the referees, they're going to allow us to take our time to get off the field. Let's do it so they've got 5 seconds or less to snap the ball. I asked the offense after the game, what do you prefer, going fast, slow, and in between? And Caleb gave the right answer, depending on the situation, yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing. There is no tempo. There is no flow. And there are just way too many 3 and outs on offense from this offense with Caleb Williams at quarterback. Learning how to win is one thing. Changing the culture is another thing. USC is trying to do both. But they're not getting better. Not on offense, defense, or special teams. And there's no coach speak to talk this away anymore. We've seen what we've seen. USC is not one play here or there away from turning the corner. They're just not. So enough. No more. Show some improvement. And I just want to see improvement in one area from one week to the next. And I don't know if we're seeing that right now. Look, I'd offer my untrained eye opinion on what's going on in practice if I saw what was going on in practice, but we don't. All we can see and talk about is the end result on Saturdays. And we're left to speculate. I'm just happy that they got a win, so I'm not as surly as I was these last couple of weeks. So I want to again say thank you, and I appreciate all my viewers here on Locked On USC. I hope you enjoyed this post-game instant reaction. It was a win. I'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll go more in depth about this win, 50-49. And then during the week, we'll start moving into the Washington Huskies. So until then, everybody, you know what to do.